I never expected a TikTok prank would leave me sitting on my couch at 3 in the morning with divorce papers in my lap and a nasty scratch down my arm. But here we are. I'm Marlo, 28, and if you asked me last week how my life was going, I'd have said it was perfect. Now? Not so much. I met my husband, Trent, 2 years ago. He was one of those nice guys you hear about in movies, always polite, never raised his voice, too good for me, honestly. I was working at a small marketing firm in Phoenix, juggling bills, friends, and way too many vodka sodas on Friday nights. My best friend, Claire, always says I live for drama, but I think I just know how to keep things interesting. When I met Trent, I put on my best complicated but worth it act. He fell for it immediately. Back then, I never thought anyone would love me enough to marry me. I'm high maintenance. I need constant attention, I hog every conversation, and I'll freak out if I think someone's ignoring me. I can't stop making passive-aggressive jokes, and guilt-tripping someone takes me no effort at all. I confess it now because it feels weird to pretend I'm perfect. I'm not, I'm a handful. But I thought Trent could handle it. For a while he did. Our wedding was a small thing in a desert chapel outside Phoenix. I walked down the aisle in a simple white dress, clutching wildflowers that cost an absolute fortune because I'm a sucker for things that look pretty. I looked at him, blue eyes shining, goofy grin, and thought, holy shit, he's mine forever. We promised each other the world. He said he'd give me everything I wanted. I felt stupid in love. After the wedding, moving in together felt like the most thrilling adventure. He moved into my tiny 2-bedroom apartment building, you know, the place where rent ate most of our paycheck. He wanted to be close, which sounded sweet, but sharing my space meant letting him see me in all my mess, my hair half, my face half, wearing ratty old pajamas. And his snoring, my God, his snoring. I pushed earplugs every night, and told him I loved it. Needed to feel like he was doing something for me. Our electric bills, rent, water, gas, and groceries, we split everything. I always felt like I was giving more than he was, but he never complained. I'd come home from work, throw my purse on the couch, collapse, and expect him to ask how my day was. If he didn't, I'd shoot him one of those stares that felt like ice picks in his brain. He'd immediately apologize, promising to do better. Then I'd forgive him. That was our pattern. Demand obscure things, get mad when he forgot, then let him frantically try to make it right. My job was fine, just a cubicle, a vaguely stern boss who gave me random tasks, and office gossip that kept me entertained. I flirted with every half-interesting guy who crossed my path because it made me feel alive. Sometimes I think I fell in love with attention more than him. But I kept him around, texting every few minutes, demanding his snap judgments on every minor thing. He was patient, too patient. I started making TikTok videos because everyone else did. I wasn't a huge social media junkie, but the app let me be loud, silly, show off my outfits. At first, I filmed myself lip-syncing or doing simple dance moves in our living room. He would sit on the couch, clapping, calling me cute. That made me feel like a queen. Soon, I roped him into my videos, making him do challenges, some innocent, some clearly me showing off. He would do it, smiling, probably because he thought that's what I needed. We got a handful of likes, not thousands, but enough for me to think, I'm onto something. Then my friend Jeff sent me a link to one of those prank videos where someone pretends to push a friend into traffic. I watched it and thought, holy shit, we could go viral if we did that. I pictured us as the ultimate prank duo, laughing and trending everywhere. I could already hear Claire's voice. Marlo, you're insane. But I loved knowing people thought that. Always one step from disaster. The plan? Simple, walk down the street near our apartment. I'd jokingly shove him in front of a slow-moving car. He'd stumble, get a minor scrape, and we'd both laugh. We'd post it, get famous. I picked a quiet street, thinking only 1 or 2 cars would pass. I told him, trust me, babe. It'll be hilarious. He gave me that loving, naive grin. Waved goodbye to him after that. I chose a Saturday afternoon. He had the day off, I had nothing to do. I told him, "Hey, let's get ice cream and film something." He agreed because he always agreed. We walked down the block, me with my phone in selfie mode, him holding my purse because I had cold hands. He asked, "What are we filming?" I said, "Just trust me, okay?" He nodded, though I could see confusion flicker across his face. We approached the corner I'd scoped out near a grocery store. Cars slowed there to turn, and a silver sedan rolled by, brake lights faint. Perfect speed, about 5 miles per hour. I motioned him to stand a few feet from the curb. He looked at me, eyes wide. "Are you sure this is safe?" he muttered. I slapped his arm lightly. "Stop being a baby. It's TikTok. Everyone's doing it." He sighed and stood there, trusting me. I started recording, framing him with the road behind him. His face was calm, maybe slightly annoyed. I stepped behind him, counting silently 3, 2, 1. I shoved him. He stumbled forward and then tripped, his knee rolling awkwardly over the asphalt. I saw the car hit his leg, slow motion, tire grazing his jeans, then screeching brakes, honking horn. He yanked his leg back just in time. He didn't scream, just let out a sharp gasp. I froze, my phone still filming. He was on his knees, looking back at me, eyes wide with shock. His face went pale. My heart slammed. The driver jumped out and rushed to help. I stood there, phone in hand, feeling a mix of adrenaline and panic. The woman who'd been driving wrapped a sweater around his knee, looking terrified. I dropped my phone, ran to him. "Oh my God, babe, I'm so sorry," I sobbed. "I didn't mean that." He looked at me, pain and betrayal in his eyes. He was bleeding. A long scrape down his knee, red seeping through the denim. I helped him to his feet. He was limping badly as we walked to our car parked a few feet away. He said nothing. I unlocked the door, he fell into the passenger seat. I jumped in and floored it to the ER, my hands shaking on the wheel. He pressed a cloth to his knee, breathing hard. In the ER waiting room, I sat texting Claire. "OMG babe, gone too far. Send help." She answered, "Marlo, are you okay? Is he okay?" I typed back, "He's bleeding super bad. Can't believe this." A nurse called him back to get stitches. I stayed at the desk, phone in my lap, posting an Instagram story. "Accidental prank gone wrong, but he's alive, so LOL." My thumb hovered over post as I watched him disappear behind the curtains. The doctor came out later, saying he needed 6 stitches. He stayed calm, nodded, let the nurse lead him away. I felt a tingle of shame, but I shoved it down. I was more worried about our video going live without us there to laugh about it. After he got stitched up, I helped him into the car again. He didn't speak. At home, he hobbled to our living room couch, flopped down, and I sat beside him, touching his arm gently. He flinched. I felt my heart sink. "Babe, I'm so sorry," I said, eyes wide. "I didn't think it'd go that far." I wanted to cry, but I held back. I looked at him, waiting for forgiveness. Instead, he stared at me like I'd stabbed him. He finally said, "I almost got killed." His voice was quiet but steady. My head spun. "It was supposed to be a stunt. I thought you knew." He closed his eyes. I hated that I'd hurt him, but admitting actual blame? No way. I got up and went to the kitchen to make tea, leaving my phone out for Claire. "Please bring wine." Over the next few days, I tried to act like it was no big deal. I posted a half-apology video on TikTok. "I'm really sorry for yesterday. Didn't mean to hurt him. The car was slow. We laughed later, right, babe?" I looked at him for backup, but he stared at his phone. That should have been my cue to shut up, but I kept filming. "We're all good now," I lied. He stopped sleeping with me. He'd come to bed hours after me, leave long before morning. The bed felt huge and cold. I lay there, replaying the shove over and over, hating myself. But also hating him for not making me feel better. I texted him every morning. "Good morning, handsome. How's your leg? He sent back a thumbs up emoji. That made me rage. An emoji? Without a word? 1 week later, I tried to fix things stupidly. I showed up at his office with a Starbucks caramel macchiato. I found him in some endless row of cubicles. He barely looked up. I placed the cup before him. Hey babe, I brought your fave, I chirped. He sighed, took a sip of his black coffee and said, I can't do this anymore. My heart stopped. What do you mean? I whispered. He shook his head. I can't trust you. That word, trust, felt like ice in my chest. I tried to laugh it off. It was just a joke, babe. He closed his eyes. No, he said. We need to talk at home. I nodded, but my throat was tight. Back home that evening, he was sitting at the kitchen table. I stepped in, and there it was, an envelope with my name, thick and official looking. I hesitated, then opened it. Divorce papers. My chest went wild. I stared, blurring letters, irreconcilable differences, division of assets, child of marriage, even though we had no kids. I felt like someone was twisting my gut. He didn't look at me, just said, We're done. I thought I'd stumble over my words, but instead I hissed. You can't be serious. He slid the papers across the table. I am. He stood up, walked to the front door. I'm out, he said without turning. Then he was gone. I sank to the floor, disbelief and fury fighting inside me. I grabbed my phone, called Claire. He left me. He served me divorce papers. I'm so screwed, she said. I'm sorry, Marlo. What are you going to do? I held the phone tight, not knowing. I don't know. That night I didn't sleep. I sat on the edge of our mattress, crumpled divorce papers in my lap. I thought about how I'd turned him into a punchline. I realized something. I'd lost control. I'd always been in control, of his time, my image, our house. Now I had nothing. I fought the urge to cry, though I felt it in my chest, heavy and stinging. I thought, I need to look strong. No one sees me sweat. Over the next days, I tried to pretend I was fine. I went to work, but everyone looked at me like I was the plague. Whispers followed me down the hallway. Did you see what Marlo did? She almost killed her husband. I caught a glimpse of my reflection in a window and barely recognized the pale face, puffy eyes, dark circles. I felt like a ghost. One evening, Claire begged me to come over. She made me tea in a mug with a cartoon cat on it. I sank into her couch. Everything's falling apart. I sobbed, trying to keep my voice steady. She looked at me, pity in her eyes. You've hurt him, Marlo. You need to face that. I screamed in my head, you have no idea, but I said, he's overreacting. It was a stupid prank. She stared. He could have died. I rolled my eyes, sniffed. He's dramatic. I don't care. She sighed and reached for my hand. You need to fix this. I jerked away. I don't know how. She let go, eyes flicking down. Maybe try saying sorry? Admit you messed up. I gritted my teeth. Why should I look weak? Claire looked like she was about to argue more but didn't. I stood and left. At home, I found old wedding photos in a box under the bed. I pulled one out, us smiling in our wedding clothes. He looked at me like I was his whole world. I felt my throat tighten. That image was a ghost of my past self. I tossed it on the bed and stomped to the bathroom. I decided I needed new distractions. I signed up for a yoga class. Posted on Instagram. Finding my zen again. Namaste. People liked it. But lying on the mat, the instructor's calm voice telling me to breathe, my mind flashed back to him, the shove, the blood, his face. My anger rose, and I snapped at her correction. Stop hovering. She just took a deep breath, said, Everything's fine, just relax. I forced a smile through tears. Then I got served again, this time a restraining order. I opened the door to a man in a suit handing me official-looking papers. I stared. It said I had to stay 100 feet away from him. My heart plummeted. How dare he use the law to ruin me? I slammed the door and stormed to Claire's place, shaking paper in hand. He's destroying me, I wailed. She looked at me, eyes sad. You did this, she whispered. I shook my head. No. He's gaslighting me. Work life was collapsing. HR called me into a meeting. They slid a copy of the restraining order across the table. You need a lawyer, they said. I left, head spinning. Arrest? Blacklisted? Ridiculed? I punched the wall once on the way out. My world shrank. I couldn't go near his favorite coffee shop without panicking. I deleted all our old photos on Instagram. My social life evaporated. People stopped calling. My phone filled with emails from court clerks, HR, and some internet troll who glued protest signs to our building. Caution! Wife with no brain! My eyes stung every time I saw my name on the screen. One night, I sat on the balcony watching the city lights. I remembered when I promised him I'd always have his back. Now I sat alone, wondering if karma was real. He was out there living a better life without me, probably laughing with someone who didn't shove him into a car. That thought stung worse than anything. A month after the accident, I went to the grocery store and recognized a woman whispering to her friend. That's the crazy one who almost killed her husband. I glared at the frozen peas, yanked a bag of carrots, and bolted out before the checkout could even ring me up. I hated feeling like a monster. Then the rent notices came. I was behind by 3 months. Landlord changed the locks on my storage unit. I had no car, he sold it to catch up on bills. I'd borrowed money and sold my jewelry. Each piece I sold felt like another piece of me dying. He moved into a nicer place with a roommate who hugged him when he cried. He got a promotion at work because he didn't have to worry about me texting him 50 times a day. I'd control his every move before. Now, I barely recognized the headlines. Trent found happiness again. My heart ached. People at work refused to hire me elsewhere. I applied to job after job but got rejection emails. We've chosen another candidate. Finally, I got a gig waiting tables at a diner in Dallas. My only income. I sold our car and used the rest to catch a bus out of Phoenix. I arrived at a tiny apartment I couldn't afford yet. Rent was more than half my paycheck. I spent nights scrolling through old memories, looking at pictures of him, of us. The ache never left. I'd dream about admitting fault, saying, "I'm sorry," but real words wouldn't come. I'd toss and turn, curse myself, then tell my empty room, "I don't care about anyone. They all betrayed me." But I did care. It stung. Karma came fast and hard, losing him, losing friends, losing my home, losing my reputation. I was alone, broke, hated. Everyone who called me friend vanished. The man I married was living a better life without me. I was blacklisted online, my name a cautionary tale for what not to do. I tried to scream, "I'm not a bad person," but the echo was cruel and silent. Now I live in Dallas, working the dinner shift at a roadside diner. My uniform is scratchy. I greet strangers with forced smiles while my mind drifts to him, his gentle grin, the way he never judged me. I serve coffee to people who don't care about my old life. "Here you go," I say, handing a hot cup to a stranger named Josh. He gives me a polite nod. I force a smile. It's easier that way. My best friend, Claire, still checks on me sometimes. She tells me I can rebuild. But I don't see it. I have no skills beyond drama and getting attention. I live off memories of a man I nearly killed for a TikTok laugh. I read somewhere that he's moved on, someone new who actually cares about him. I picture them holding hands, laughing, and I feel a twist of jealousy so sharp it makes me sick. I keep replaying that shove, that moment. If I could rewind time, I would, but I can't. So here's my truth. I lost everything, and I don't care, except I do. But I'd never admit that. You see, I might be broken, hated, alone, but I'm still me, selfish, raw, unrepentant. I'll keep blaming everyone else for what happened, telling myself I was right to push him, that he deserved to feel fear. Maybe I'd even do it again if I ever got the chance. But I won't. Not because I'm sorry, but because I have nowhere left to do it. My stage is gone, and I'm left rehearsing my mistakes alone in a cheap apartment. So yes, I'm here, empty, angry, and bitter, but still standing. And I'd do it all again, because I am who I am. The world is burning around me, but I don't care, except when I think about the emptiness that replaced him. And that, my friends, is my story, the prank that cost me a man, my life, and, most of all, my own peace.